Hello, hello. Thank you all so much for joining us today at one of almost our, but this is our third to last workshop of our El Paso Giving Day workshop series. Um, Today we have an awesome presentation by our El Paso Giving Day committee members. We have Isidro Torres, Alicia Rascon.
We lost you, Cassie, with
Oh,
your audio. There we go.
my internet connection is unstable. I'm so sorry. I'm using my hotspot. I hope I'm not losing anyone. Okay, can you hear me? Great. Okay, awesome. And we also have Natalie Ekberg with us today. They will be, basically, we're going to discuss cultivating donors and challenge funds within your Giving Day campaign and beyond that. So we're going to go ahead, and since it's 5 minutes after, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. Alrighty. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Thumbs up. Yes.
I think we're losing you again. Your audio.
There you go. You're good, Cassie.
Yes? Okay, I'm so sorry. Oh no. I love technology. Alrighty, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If for any reason you can't hear me or anything, please in the chat box, let me know. Or if you have any questions throughout the entire presentation, please put it in the chat box and we will definitely get to it at the end of the presentation. So we are going to go ahead and get started.
All right, I'll start off the first couple of slides and then I'll pass it on to Alicia and Natalie. So the first part is just really covering the basics. And so if you haven't already, now is a good time to really look at your organization and understand, like, is your entire staff and can your entire board repeat the mission and the vision and the key services of your organization leading up to El Paso Giving Day? Do they know what key services are being promoted? Do they know the 30-second elevator speech of your organization to really start and grasp the donors' attention and be able to get them to donate or support your organization in one way? And so we know that a lot of times it may be hard. Maybe it's volunteer fundraising person, or it's a board member who's leading the El Paso Giving Day charge. So it's important to really understand who's the El Paso Giving Day go-to for the organization and have them understand what tools they have, the basic tools, utilizing social media, utilizing email campaigns, and you promoting philanthropy and promoting the organization through that, and getting the message really down to a very message, and a message that can be repeated over and over again and can be consistent throughout your organization. And it's just really a matter of getting what you're trying to do, what your mission is to help the community of El Paso. And of course, the important thing about El Paso Giving Day is understanding the importance of giving during El Paso Giving Day, why all these hundreds of nonprofits are coming together on this day to promote philanthropy through our community and raise funds for all of our nonprofits, and how you can incorporate your mission with El Paso Giving Day. So remember, if you haven't already, now is the time to edit your El Paso Giving Day pages to include videos, pictures, mission, so that way when you share that link out there on social media and you put your message out there, when people click, they have more to look at and more to understand. And so now it's time to assess, if you haven't already, to assess your organization's standing in the fundraising strategies, which Alicia and Natalie will go over a little bit more. So the next slide. And so again, Alicia and Natalie are going to go over this a little bit more, but also basically thinking, what's the best way that I can thank our donors and how do I keep track of our donors? You'll be able to pull them end of El Paso Giving Day, but you want to make sure that you keep in touch with them and thank them after El Paso Giving Day, and don't just stop there, and keep keep communicating with them and keep in touch with them throughout the year. And Natalie has some great ways to do that. Cassie's going to go over some of the matching fund strategies of, how do we reach out to businesses, she's going to go over the rules of the matching fund strategies, but it's important to understand what businesses can I go after, or who can I go after to, how do I get the message out there of the matching fund strategy? When you post on social media, are you going to say, for every dollar you donate, you're matched a dollar, and getting that message out there, and how do you really want to make sure everything's together to make sure you're established and ready for El Paso Giving Day. I know very well, having done this since the beginning of El Paso Giving Day, that sometimes, we scramble in the last week or so before early giving or El Paso Giving Day. But really, we need to take the time to have already planned it out and plan it out a little bit more, and be prepared for El Paso Giving Day. And I here with NAMI El Paso, I know there's a lot going on. I have my event 5 days before El Paso Giving Day. So I have to look at, how I'm separating my donors and how I'm talking to donors about that. Alicia is going to go into a little bit more of the fundraising strategy, and Natalie will talk a little bit more about the ask.
Hi, everyone. We're excited to get ready for El Paso Giving Day. I know this is something that our team at CASFI is always really thrilled to participate in. So right now we're going to delve into how to develop a fundraising strategy specifically around El Paso Giving Day. So first of all, it's important to come up with a goal. You're going to want to look at some of your past data, look at some of your overall fundraising goals. You're going to want to have a very specific goal in mind. As part of that, you're going to want to come up with a plan. So you should come up with a strategy of, okay, in order to meet this goal, we're going to need to get so many donations at the $100 level. We're going to need to get so many donations at the $500 level. And really start identifying and doing some of the math of, in order to get to your goal, how many individual donors are you going to need to get? You're also going to want to prepare to make some of the big asks. So one of the great things about El Paso Day is that it provides opportunities for you all to create your own internal challenge funds. So that's an opportunity for you to go to some of your major donors and do that big ask. Again, it's important to have a very concrete plan and strategy. So you should also think about, where are the funds going? So is there a specific program? Is there a specific need that is very urgent at this time that you can really cultivate the entire message of El Paso Giving Day? So instead of just being very broad, it should be for a specific need within the agency at this current time, or it can be a very specific program. You're going to want to review your past data. So it's good to look through who gave to El Paso Giving Day last year, who has really supported you all through online giving, who are some of your major individual donors. That'll help you start putting together your list of who you can start emailing. You can also be sending out postcards. So coming up with a strategy of, what is the timing of you sending out a postcard? How often do you all want to be sending messages on social media? How often do you all want to be sending out newsletters? If you have a certain goal of the number of donors you want to get, you're going to want to come up with a specific plan of how many donors you're going to reach out to. So looking through your past El Paso Giving Day donations will be a huge help with that. And then, of course, you're going to want to make sure that you know your agency very well as you're preparing to go out there and meet with donors. You're going to want to have a very well-crafted message. You're going to want to make sure that you have any collateral material ready. You're also going to want to make sure that you're developing a lot of that content for social media as well as your newsletter. And then you're going to want to have a very concrete 30-second elevator speech that'll go into the specifics of your program. So one of the exciting things about El Paso Giving Day is that it presents an excellent opportunity to engage with your board. So your board should be heavily involved in some of your fundraising efforts. And this is a really exciting opportunity for them. Some board members might be a little bit more shy about getting involved in fundraising, and this presents additional opportunities. I know, especially right now, since some nonprofit agencies are having to cancel fundraisers with COVID, this presents a great opportunity for the board members. So definitely have that discussion conversation with your board members, you're definitely going to want to encourage them to personally contribute. So as board members, they should be invested in your organization as well. Should be something that they're very passionate about. So they should definitely be willing to commit. You should definitely talk to your board members about the possibility of some of them contributing towards a challenge fund. Through El Paso Giving Day. This is also a great opportunity. So El Paso Giving Day staff and the foundation do a great job of creating a lot of buzz and excitement in the community. So there is a lot of awareness that goes around this event. I think not only is this a good opportunity for each individual organization, but El Paso Giving Day also presents a great opportunity for our entire nonprofit sector to come together and promote the importance of philanthropy and promote the importance of nonprofits and all the causes that we work towards. So a lot of times board members get very excited about that. So it is good to let board members know that they don't necessarily need to do the ask directly. So they could be reaching out to their contacts, but they could also be making some of those introductions. So maybe introducing you and helping coordinate some of those meetings for some of your development staff or your executive director to go and do that ask. Or they might be forwarding some of their information. So board members should definitely be sharing all of your messages on social media. As staff, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're preparing and cultivating some of that content for them so that they have content to be sharing. And then it's good to know that there's also going to be tons of resources on El Paso Giving Day. So there's a lot of great graphics that you can pull from there that you can be including in your newsletter, you can be including in your social media. So definitely encourage all your board members to be sharing that, to be raising awareness of your cause, and to be sharing amongst their network.
Okay, everyone. If you missed Cassie's introduction earlier, my name is Natalie Eckford, and I've been serving on the El Paso Giving Day Committee for 3 years. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 5 years. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this. Are you all hearing like some feedback? Or is that just on my? No? Okay. Then I'll just go ahead and continue and ignore it. Glad that you all aren't hearing it. But I wanted to start off with just kind of thanking everybody for joining us and also kind of addressing the elephant in the room. So how many of you all out there are terrified or at the thought of making an ask? And this is a safe space, so you can share that. Okay, so quite a few of you. I'd like to start off with that because I want you to know that you're not alone. Many people feel the same way, and often those fears paralyze us when we're moving forward with making asks to prospective or current donors. But I feel very strongly that having the right knowledge base and being prepared helps to eliminate a lot of those fears. I am very fortunate that in my career, I have had a lot of fantastic mentors in the world of fundraising and development, and they were very generous in sharing their knowledge with me, and that is why I have learned to become a successful fundraiser, but also think about fundraising as a fun conversation between myself and the person that I'm sitting in front of. And I really like to pass that knowledge on because I'm a firm believer that strong nonprofits means a stronger El Paso for all the people that we serve. So I'm really excited to, share some of this with you all. And for those of you who are nervous about fundraising, I have found through chatting with different nonprofit professionals that the fear of fundraising typically comes from like a few different places. It's typically fear of begging, right? You feel like asking for money is begging. Fear of looking stupid, fear of rejection, and fear of public speaking and saying the wrong thing. But the truth is that everyone who is on this call is providing people with the opportunity to make an impact. And I want to be very clear about this before I go into the steps to a great ask, because donors give to the magic of an idea. Over the years, when I've had nonprofit professionals ask me for advice in the world of fundraising, I've told them, well, give me your pitch as if I was a donor. And a lot of the times I will hear donors say, fundraising professionals say things to the extent of, we need donors, we have needs. People don't give to an organization because your organization has needs. There are hundreds of organizations with needs, and some provide multiple services to address multiple needs. What you're doing is you're inviting people to feel empowered and to participate in something that's meaningful and important. So handled correctly, which includes follow-up, which Alicia is going to be addressing more further later, it creates a great momentum for the organization. It creates enthusiasm. It creates energy. It invites powerful and positive outcomes, and it can be part of a larger solution to community issues. I also want to remind everybody that people want to feel generous. That's why your language is so important. You're not asking people for donations. We use that term as kind of a shorthand, and you're going to hear me refer to it, in this conversation about as donations. But really, what you're asking for are investments. You don't need a donor. You need partners. Partners are different than donors. Donors are a one-time, infusion of funds. A partner is somebody who is long-term invested in your mission. A lot of the times people feel like, I'm afraid to ask people for money because I'm taking money from them. You're not doing that. You're not taking anything away. You're providing them with an opportunity. Your new mantra, everybody who's on this call should start thinking about the ask as not a question, but a conversation. So I'm hoping that that kind of helps with those of you who, feel nervous about this. And the steps that I'm going to be providing will also, I hope, provide you all with the foundation so that you feel more prepared. So that takes away some of your nerves about the steps. So steps to great ask. Know what you want, prepare for your ask, establish rapport, be donor-centric, how do you tackle the ask itself, and then follow up. And we're going to be going through each one of those individually. And can you advance, Cassie? Thank you. Okay, so step one, know exactly what you want. So dates, numbers, why do you want it? So I think it's fair to say that everybody on this call hopes to one day retire, right? But there's a difference between saying, one day I want to retire versus saying, I want to retire by the time I'm 65 with $2.5 million in the bank. This is exactly like that example. You need to know your mission moment. You need to be able to articulate your why. Why are you involved with this organization? Why did you take this job? Why do you serve on the board of directors? Why do you serve as a volunteer? Answer those questions if you're not prepared for the ask. You need to know by when you need the money, where exactly the money is going to, and how much money you need to fund that project or organization, and how much that individual can contribute. There is no shortcut for preparation. Go ahead and advance. Okay, so step two, preparing for your ask. 85% of success is in setting the meeting. So if you have set up a meeting with a prospective donor, you're already in great shape. A lot of people make the mistake of making their case statement over the phone. That should not be the time to make your ask. Your goal should be to get in front of your donor if at all possible. And I'm including Zoom meetings and Skype meetings and all of those things during this time. Your case statement needs to be relevant. It has to have dramatic and emotional appeal, and it has to have a sense of urgency. And you need to be able to stand behind this. Ideally, it should also include a story. So if you have some testimonials from clients that you can provide, this is a perfect time to do that, because again, people want to make an impact. So some of the things that you should do is learn everything you can about that prospect. And there's lots of ways to do that, right? There's a lot of software out there like Donor Wealth Management System that will allow you to learn more about prospects. But if you don't have access to those subscription services, which can be really pricey, you know, Google is your friend. El Paso Inc. is your friend. Looking up on, you know, El Paso Central Appraisal District to get a sense of, you know, how, you know, expensive the real estate that they live in is, provides you with a great kind of idea and a snapshot. Obviously, that's just one factor, but all of that together will help. What boards and committees does that prospect, you know, sit on? You know, you should be able to know as much as you possibly can by gathering sources and source information. This is a great way to engage your board. Ask your board members to share with you what they know about that prospect. You know, everything from, well, they have a child with X condition to, you know, they live in EPISD to they serve on this board. This is the way they like to be communicated with. All of that is important information. That's going to help get you to the amount that you should be asking for. And I cannot state this enough, and I'll talk more about this during the portion in which we talk about how to make a specific ask. You should go in there with a specific amount, and you need to be able to say, your investment of X is X% of the goal that we need to get so that we can fulfill our commitment to serve X number of clients in this program. It needs to be very, very specific, and you need to show that donor that you've done your homework as to what the impact they're going to be able to make. For some organizations, it's really easy, right? El Pasoans Fighting Hunger can say for every dollar that is donated, that provides 7 meals. But even if you do not encapsulate your information in the same way in your nonprofit, there are easy ways to do that. You need to work with your accountant or your CFO to have some measurable outcomes around the number of clients that you'll impact per $100 or $1,000 if that's not already done for you. So make sure that that's part of your planning process. And you can advance, Cassie. Okay, establishing rapport. Establishing rapport is extremely important. So look your prospect in the eye. Your tone of voice is important. You want to convey enthusiasm and empathy, but also deliver with confidence. You want to thank them for meeting you. I like to start off by asking, you know, questions. Go ahead and advance, Kathy. By being donor-centric, what I mean is thinking about the donor first. So as I said earlier, I like to start with questions. Some examples of some questions that I use to start the meeting are, can you tell me about your philanthropic goals? What is the most pressing issue that you think our community is facing? If they're past donors, you know, and they're current donors, then thank them certainly for their past support and ask them, why have you chosen to support this organization for X number of years? It's also important to listen. It's very common for me to have seen nonprofit professionals interrupt, and that's because a lot of the times those of us who are drawn to development work, where we tend to be outgoing, we tend to be extroverts, we like to engage with people, but this is not about you. This is about the donor in front of you. So you want to listen to them. It is very easy to talk yourself out of the gift or to try to steer the donor into maybe a partnership that is not the best suited for them or their company that they represent. And I had to learn this the hard way. So when I started off in fundraising, I used to go in armed with my materials, with my case statement. I had beautiful folders filled with brochures, and I would march in and I would say, thank you so much for meeting with me. I need $5,000 from you for the following reason. And I would talk their ear off about all these different amazing things we had been doing. And one day I noticed that I had a partner who was just, you could tell, just not paying attention. And so I put my materials to the side and I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And once I opened up the floor in that way, he started telling me about all of the reasons that he was supporting the organization and how he had been having conversations with his adult children about supporting us. And he really wanted to create a legacy leadership gift. Those are my words, not his, but I would have missed all of that if I had not allowed him to talk. And so that was a real eye-opening opportunity for me to realize I had not been giving my donors the opportunity to tell me what was important to them. And that's when I changed my approach. So I always start with questions, I listen, and then I convey the benefits to the donor. I think we think about that in terms of corporate gifts a lot of the times. We talk about sponsorship benefits, things of that nature, but I'm also talking about the emotional impact of participating in that program as a partner. Do not underestimate the importance of that. That is truly everything. And that's part of the donor-centric aspect of what I said about not looking for a donor, just any donor. You're looking for a partner. You don't just need a donor, you need that person sitting in front of you. And I use that phrase when I meet with donors. I say, I need you, XYZ person, because you are respected in this community as a leader. People know you, and I need a leadership gift from you that will help me build upon this foundation of success that we're hoping to build with you. People really want to feel like you need them and not just any old person. Each ask should be treated like a moment in time. So again, you're looking for long-term partners, not just donors. And one of the benefits for a donor is the partnership with your organization. Many of our organizations in this community are doing incredible things and have incredible brands. And that's a benefit to the partners that you're looking at. So you don't want to let the size of the gift dominate the presentation. What I mean by that is it's about the mission. It's not about the money. Of course, you need to get and secure specific amounts so that you can do the work you do. But if people are inspired, that money will come. And you want to do that by talking about outcomes, stories, results, the way in which they are going to make a difference. So rather than talking about the features of a program, always think about individual. And you can go ahead and advance. All right. This is some of the most challenging part of this entire thing, right? When I make an ask, I do ask for a specific amount. And I do say, the way I typically phrase it is, I would like you to consider a gift of X. Then you wait for the response. Don't let those objections rattle you. Those objections are actually a great opportunity for you all to address anything that you didn't address or clarify things. So if somebody is asking you questions, that is actually a fantastic sign. You need to secure a commitment before you leave that meeting. Ideally, it's a gift, but if it's not the gift, it's a date for the follow-up or for the visit. Go ahead and continue. So I'm hearing that I'm fading in and out, and I apologize. I don't know how to address that because I'm right in front of the microphone and I'm not moving. So if there's anybody on this training who is not hearing what I have to say, Cassie, you're welcome to share my contact information if anybody wants to follow up with me. But I'll try to speak as closely into the microphone as I possibly can.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
absolutely. So follow-up. So you want to make sure that you call the person the next day and thank them for their time. Handwritten thank you notes. People omit this step often because they're busy, but it is an important part of the process. So that's really important and critical to do. At minimum, an email. But I don't think there's anything as as special as receiving a handwritten thank you note, especially in this day and age. This is also a great time for you all with board members, or if you're a board member yourself, ask other board members who are serving with you to also send a thank you note. Um, it's a very easy thing for board members to do, to send an additional thank you note. What I sometimes do is when I have a meeting, a board meeting, I know we're not doing that as much these days, but when I have an in-person board meeting, I report out on the major gift prospects that I've been meeting with, and then I have a thank you note that I put a sticky on. This note is for this person from this company. This is how much we have requested, and then I pass around that note, and everybody has the opportunity to sign it. If not, make sure that your board members have access to thank you notes so that they can send notes on their own. I know a lot of times right now people are not meeting in person, but if you drop them off at your board members, that allows them to help with this process. For those of you with strong boards, that is another way to convey donor benefits, because that strong brand includes the strong board leadership that you have. And that means a great deal for many of the influential prospects in this community. And you want to make sure that you offer to share more information or to provide regular updates. Okay, so no's. People get worried about, how am I going to handle a no? The truth is that if you're doing your job, you're going to hear no's. But a few things to remember is that if somebody tells me no, they're not saying no to Natalie Eckberg. They're saying no to the organization that I represent. Put that in your mind, because that's going to help emotionally free you from the ask. I also want to remind everybody that a no now does not mean a no later. You want to make sure that you stay in control and move forward. So if somebody tells you no, then what you want to do is you want to thank them for their time and then ask them questions. Can you share with me why you can't at this time? Another good question, especially for individual major donors, is if you could do this over a period of time, would you say yes? I once had a situation where I was new to an organization, and I walked in, with a thank you gift, because this was a corporate um, corporate liaison whose corporation had donated to us for several years. And so I went in to meet with this individual, and they said, we are meeting with you only so we can tell you up front that we're not going to be supporting you any longer, and here's all the reasons why. And all of the reasons why were legitimate. This relationship had not been taken care of well, and all I could do was say, let me get my notebook. I want to write all these down. I want to make sure that all of these are addressed. And then, can I have permission to follow up with you on the ways in which I'm correcting these deficiencies? And the answer was yes. And I told him, I'm not going to make you an ask. I just want to report back to you on the progress we've made. That actually ended up, with time, I'm talking like 2 years later, becoming a really strong relationship, but it took me building that relationship back towards a foundation of trust. So if you're told no, remember that that can always change, and that you want to use this as an opportunity to keep those prospects aware of all the things you're doing. Just send them, maybe once a quarter, like a copy of your newsletter and a little handwritten note saying, we'd love for you to come out and see us in action. I'd love to share with you the progress we've made, and use that as an opportunity to cultivate and steward that relationship.
So just to add on to some of what Natalie said about cultivating your donors, so definitely after El Paso Giving Day, this shouldn't be the end of the relationship by any means. We definitely encourage you to highly make sure that you're staying in contact with these sponsors and continuing to cultivate them. So you can keep existing donors in the loop of the organizations and events and announcements. So make sure that they're added to any of your mailings. You're going to want to make sure that you can reach out to them, offer to give them a tour. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you give them a thank you, send them a letter. This is, again, a great way to engage the board members and volunteers. They can help with doing thank you calls after El Paso Giving Day. They can assist with doing thank you cards. So it's always great to have that personal touch as well. And definitely make sure that all of your supporters are in the loop when you're having upcoming events. It's good to also remember their birthdays. That's a great time to reach out to some of these donors and just to make sure that you continue to stay on their radar and that you're continuing to develop that rapport, develop that relationship. And then don't be afraid to up the ask. So there's great opportunities to continue to invite them to fundraising events, see if they're interested in becoming a sponsor of some of your other programs as well. And then again, so you definitely want to keep your donors engaged. So at a minimum, you want to thank them for their support. This is also a great opportunity to let them know of the success of your program. So if you had a specific goal during El Paso Giving Day, it's good to report back. Let them know, we got to 100% of our goal, or we got to 90% of our goal, or because of El Paso Giving Day, this is what we're able to do now. So you can be very specific of, our goal was to offer a program with X workshops. So it's good to report back and let them know, like, we were able to do this number of workshops and this number of presentations and serve this number of people thanks to El Paso Giving Day. So even a few months down the road, when you actually see the impact of that program, it's good to send that update to your donors. You definitely want to thank all of your staff and fundraisers. So again, with this peer-to-peer model, you want to make sure that you're engaging your fundraisers. So these are individuals that were your ambassadors that are out there, like, helping promote El Paso Giving Day. So you want to treat them as stewards as well, and you're going to want to continue doing that follow-up with them. And then, of course, it's great to continue engaging with our different workshops. So we do have another one coming up on September 24th. So you'll definitely want to mark your calendar for that. And then, so I think you're just on mute, Cassie.
I am on mute. Thank you so much, Alicia, Natalie, and Isidro, for that awesome advice. I know I definitely learned a few things as I am new to the development world, right? Fairly new. So thank you so much. That was pretty awesome advice. So now for El Paso Giving Day, I just wanted to remind you all of a few rules that you all have. If you already have registered, you have accepted in our terms and conditions. Again, if you need a copy of those terms and conditions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I most definitely can send you a copy in PDF format. So basically, just a quick reminder that your organization is solely responsible for getting donations for Giving Day. Hustle, that's what we can say. Here at PDNCF, our main goal is to provide that tax receipt. A tax receipt is given automatically via email when a donor makes a donation through the elpasogivingday.org platform site. If you do have a donor that would prefer to come to our offices at 221 North Kansas, Suite 1900, and they do want to drop off those donations, they are more than welcome to. However, just be mindful that those in-person donations do not count towards any of our prizes, incentives, or the matching funds. But however, if they do prefer that hand deliver or mail in, they will be receiving a tax receipt via mail, or if they would prefer it through email, they would notify Jane Enriquez, who's at the front. If you've ever been, actually, Jane's watching this, happy anniversary. It's her 2nd year anniversary with Paso Norte Community Foundation. So if you ever see Jane, tell her congrats. Also, as well, through the platform, you may also send your own thank you letters. However, these thank you letters are not tax deductible receipts. So if you do have a donor that would like a tax deductible receipt, you can either reach out to me on behalf of them, or you can give them my contact information, and I will definitely get that to them, hopefully within the next 48 hours. Again, this is a huge component of El Paso Giving Day. Every single one of your donors' donations must be 100% tax deductible. Basically, what that means is they cannot be receiving any type of receivables for their donation. This could include time product. It could include a raffle incentive, a membership incentive, logo recognition on your website, anything. No, any sort of receivable they are receiving, that is not 100% tax deductible. So it needs to be, for El Paso Giving Day, it does need to be tax deductible. We do monitor those donations. So if we do catch you kind of providing those incentives or advertising on social media or any of your platforms, we do have the right to remove you from the Giving Day campaign. Okay, so then I know this is a huge question, is the matching funds. So graciously, Walmart will be matching up to $300,000, $300,000 in gifts. These gifts must be made online in order to be matched. I know last year we had crazy line out the door at 6 in the morning with checks and cash so that they can be matched, which was beautiful. It was awesome. I'm so glad I was part of that process. However, this year with the pandemic, we do not want to have any kind of, we want to follow CDC guidelines, right? We don't want any interruptions, anything. We do care about everyone's health and safety. So if you do prefer to, if a donor, prefers to give you a check, you can input their routing and account number at elpasogivingday.org when the site is live to receive donations, because the site does receive electronic checks, debit, and credit cards. Again, if you need me to clarify any of those rules, please feel free to contact me. Or if you have any donors that would like to discuss these rules with me, I'm more than welcome to speaking to any of your donors as well. Last year, a major difference is that the match started on, I believe it was November 7th. It was Early Giving Day. This year, Early Giving does start October 8th, and Giving Day funds will not be part of matching funds. Matching funds begins October 15th, the day of giving at 12 a.m. midnight. As soon as the clock strikes 12, it's open, free game for matching funds. Every organization does have the opportunity to receive up to $10,000 in matching funds, whether that's going to be one check or one debit transaction from a donor of $10,000. That's great for you. We do highly recommend and promote, to get the most donations as possible, not to just go to your big donors, but also your smaller donors. Just as Isidro, Natalie, and Alicia just discussed, El Paso Giving Day is a great way to cultivate new and existing donors. And the Giving Day campaign is 100% a great vital resource to aid you in that process. Again, matching funds may not be distributed directly or indirectly outside of the United States, meaning if you do have a bank account within, I guess the best example would be if you have a bank account in Ciudad Juarez, unfortunately you are not eligible to receive matching funds. Now, our rules for the prizes. Great news, we have our awesome Power Hour prizes once more. It says my internet connection is unstable, so I hope you all can hear me. And I will be responding to questions. We have our Power Hour prizes, philanthropic photo, our Surpass the Past, and a Global Giver prize. Again, these are always being updated, so in case we do receive any more prizes, I will notify you all in my weekly updates. For the Power Hour prizes, we do have 4. We have our 6 to 7 a.m., we have our 12 to 1 p.m., 4 to 5, and then our 9 to 10. Within those hours, your organization wants to strategize for your donors to donate within that 1 hour so you can win an additional $1,000. There are 3 winners. Let's say you have listed yourself as having a small budget size, medium, or large. That's the group you are competing against. Let's say the Children's Foundation received 50 donations, but then Southwest Coalition for Life received 51. I don't know if those two are in the same bracket, but then Southwest Coalition for Life would win the Power Hour prize, the additional $1,000. You are eligible to only receive one Power Hour prize throughout Giving Day. However, you are allowed to also win the Philanthropic Photo, Surpass the Pass, and Global Giver as well. Those three are more on a raffle basis. I'm sorry, the Global Giver is not, but Philanthropic Photo and Surpass the Pass are on a raffle basis. To be more in depth with the Philanthropic Photo, you are going to post an El Paso Giving Day post on your organization's social media account or on your individual account. And you are going to, it could be Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And you just need to put the hashtag El Paso Giving Day as well as the hashtag of the sponsor that is within that hour. We have one from 11 to 12 a.m. and we also have one, I believe, from 2 to 3 p.m. I believe 11 to 12 is the Arrowhead, NMSU Arrowhead Center, and 2 to 3 is Texas Gas. Don't quote me on that. The rules specifically are on elpasogivingday.org on the underneath the prizes tab that indicates the actual hashtag. So you could be enrolled. Then that's in order you have to post your photo within that hour, and then the winner will be announced via Facebook Live. For Surpass the Pass, unfortunately, this prize is not for individual and for organizations that are new to El Paso Giving Day this year. This is for those that have been with us, that were actually just with us last year at least. So as this is our 5th anniversary here at Paso Norte Community Foundation for El Paso Giving Day, we wanted to, as well as a sponsorship for El Paso Electric, give kind of a special incentive for those of you who are veterans of Giving Day. So as long as you receive more donations than you did in the previous year in 2019, you will be entered into this raffle to win a prize. And there will be 4 organizations that will be eligible to win. Now for the Global Giver, you can win an additional $500 if you have the donor with, I guess, the furthest IP address from El Paso Giving Day. If you are a hacker, kudos to you, because that would come in handy. No, I hope not. I hope you're not a hacker and a cheater. But anyway, so we have, of course, if you all had seen my email, we do have another couple prizes to be giving out at our Early Giving Day virtual concert event, which will be taking place on October 8th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. In order to win those special prizes, you do need to be viewing via Facebook Live. It is a free event, so I hope to see you all there. Of course, more details about that event will be coming to your all's way soon, as well as listed on the website, hopefully by next week. Alrighty, so I do have some questions here. I'm going to go with Victoria's question, and this is a great question, I think, for Isidro maybe, because I know you did say that NAMI is having an event right before or after El Paso Giving Day. So Victoria is asking, we have a virtual fundraiser that's 10 days after El Paso Giving Day. What's the best way to navigate compartmentalize asks when it's for 2 important efforts happening around the same time?
Yeah, so I think some of what Alicia covered and Natalie covered is understanding your plan and what your goal is for each event. And so looking at, if one event is for big donors, big sponsors, reaching out to your big donors and your sponsors. And for El Paso Giving Day, you can do it grassroots. And if you want to take that campaign to ask people for, a small $10 donation or whatever they're able to give, that would be a good way to compartmentalize. If you're able to compartmentalize big donors, sponsors, and sort of small donors, grassroots, cultivating new donors. And that's another thing. You can use El Paso Giving Day to reach out to new donors and to get new people coming in. And for your fundraiser that you have 10 days after, maybe looking at your past donors and inviting them to that one and kind of continue and build a partnership with them to support you for that virtual fundraiser. What we're doing and what I'm doing for NAMI El Paso is we have a virtual walk 5 days before El Paso Giving Day. And so what I'm doing here is I'm using the walk as a way to continue my partnership with past sponsors and continue with people who've participated in this fundraiser year after year. It's our 10th year anniversary, so we're bringing people wanting to thank them and for their support the past 10 years and just continue that because we understand that it's going to be, COVID has struck us really hard. I've been meeting with other NAMIs across the nation, and we, some aren't as hit as we are, and some are hit even worse. And so that's what I'm using NAMI Walks for, and I'm using El Paso Giving Day as a way to reach out to new donors, new people, and to let them know what compartmentalize again. It's just really looking at what your goals are for each event and how you want to look at donors, and maybe one donor use also El Paso Giving Day as a way if for whatever reason you make an ask for your virtual fundraiser and they say, you know what, I won't be able to make it that day or I can't that day, you can say, well, I'm sorry you can't make it that day, and taking that no, like Natalie said, and taking it to your advantage and be like, well, just so you know, there's a lot of nonprofits taking part in El Paso on October 15th, and you can donate to us there and support us there, and we would really appreciate it. And so I hope that helps. Cassie, you can share my information as well. But it's definitely going to be interesting, Victoria, and for anybody else who has events happening often that close. But it's the name of the game.
Thank you so much, Isidro. Yeah, definitely. That's a name of the game, right? So Hannah asks, advertising what on our social platforms? So I think this is in reference to logo recognition in exchange for a donation given on Giving Day. That just means, for instance, Moms on Board, they have an initiative where you can advertise your local business on their Facebook page with a $25 donation. Now, when doing so, that $25 is no longer completely tax refundable because they are receiving a service in exchange. So on your regular site, whatever it may be, or on your social media, however you do that, you cannot advertise to potential sponsors or donors that you will, if they donate to your organization within Giving Day, you will be providing them with special recognition. I mean, a special thank you is great, but if they're receiving kind of like a permanent logo stamp on your website, any type of service of advertisement. Hopefully I explained that properly. And yes, the match is only for donations made on the 15th, whether that is if the $300,000 match has not been exhausted past 11:59, then of course it will continue on. However, again, all the rules still maintain that every organization can only get a match of up to $10,000. I do know some organizations do have several organization pages for Giving Day. The 10,000 match is for per organization, not per program, just to kind of give a better understanding of that. Judy asks, where can we look for help with social media posts? Of course. So we do have the resources listed at elpasogivingday.org slash, I believe it's resources slash, and then we have nonprofits, board members, and then as well as fundraisers for the peer-to-peer fundraising. If you do need any help posting those or have any questions, please feel free to email me and I will put you in contact with our social media specialist at Barracuda PR who did our previous presentation. Diana asks, when can we start building our webpage? Your webpage is currently open to begin editing. As soon as you register, you are able to edit your organization's page. And there is a workshop on editing your organization's page listed at elpasogivingday.org/workshops. It'll be the second video posted if you have any questions, but of course, feel free to reach out to me. Judy asks, can you post the correct hashtag here in the chat? I unfortunately I cannot recall off the top of my head the correct exact hashtag, but it is listed at the elpasogivingday.org site underneath the prizes tab. So it'll be prizes, Power Hour prizes, and then it'll be under philanthropic photo. But I can most definitely email you that website link. Then Hannah said, thank you. So no service or special recognition allowed in exchange for donation. Correct. Any type of receivable, 100% correct. I'm sure like with your accounting department, when you sell fundraising tickets, you have your tickets at cost, then you have your tickets like that receive, you know, the receivable for the ticket, and then as well as a donation. So it is, it has to be 100% tax deductible, 100%. All right, and does anyone have any other questions before I bid you all adieu? Hopefully I said that properly. Okay, awesome. Well, again, if you have any questions or we didn't cover something that you have a question about, please feel free to contact me at cpedregon, CPEDREGON at PDN Foundation, goodness gracious, .org, or at my cell 915-497-5079, or you can leave me a voicemail at 915-218-2644. I do have, thank you, Alicia, for putting those hashtags there. Diana did ask before we go, do we have resources to reach corporates? Do you mean to reach certain corporations or to businesses? Do we have resources? I'm not too sure about your question exactly, but if you want to go in more depth, shoot me an email or call me after this presentation and we can go ahead and discuss it. Awesome. Alrighty, well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will also leave Alicia's, Isidro's, and Natalie's contact information on our elpasogivingday.org website. Alrighty, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.